What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Powerbook 3 Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 2. It's All Love. And the synopsis for this episode reads: with the federal task force seemingly behind them, Kanan and Rock navigate a new business relationship just as Unique begins to plot his quest for revenge. Meanwhile, Lou considers a new music opportunity. Marvin goes too far on a side job for Stefano, and Juke tries to adjust to life in the army. So, let's get started with this episode. But first, if you are new here, returning here, please take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button. Then hit the notification bell and select all. It'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you smash that like button, write a comment, and share the video because sharing is caring. So I am confused right now of what year this is, when this is starting, how many months later this is. But it's starting off with jukeboxes in the army. So I guess she graduated high school and made this decision. Don't know. Totally lost. If y'all know something different, please put it down in the comment section. Maybe I missed something at the beginning, like 1 month later, 2 months later, 3 months later. Let us know something. Anywho, like I said, it starts off with jukebox in the army. You see her doing push-ups and stuff. You see her running through, trails and stuff. You see her shooting and doing her army stuff. And she seems to be getting along with the other people. She's the only African American person I see. She was the only female I saw. I don't know. So she's doing all this running every day. They're doing all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what day this is, but Juke sees one of her army buddies, Chalmers or something, being let out of the place. And the other guy that's with her says, oh yeah, he's being dishonorably discharged because they found some faggot magazines in his footlocker. And Juke is surprised, like, they're discharging him for that? And he said they better, because I don't want no homo finger in my butt when I'm in a foxhole together. And Juke told him to shut up and go to wherever. And so Juke doesn't like this whole thing because we know that she's gay. So she decides to leave the army and go to Atlanta, Spelman College, to see Aisha. And now Aisha's surprised to see her, and they're in bed, and Juke is telling her that she left the army and will probably get in a lot of trouble. And she was hoping that, maybe she can hang with Aisha at Spelman and check out the college life. You know what I mean? But Aisha is like, just like you, I'm learning about myself and I'm trying to figure myself out. She was letting her know. And she said, the truth is she needs to figure it out on her own. So Jukebox understood. So next we see the feds, FBI, they're having a press conference about Detective Malcolm Howard, saying he was involved in a narcotics operation with a Ronald Mathis, that was Ronnie, because they found their dead bodies, and Ronnie's supposed to be a known drug dealer. So they're saying all this mess about him, and then the reporters are asking questions, and they're answering the questions about the community and trust, and then the press conference is over. So then we see Detective Garcia. He goes into Captain Baptiste's office, and Captain said the task force may be disbanded, but no way is this case closed, he told him. He says there's no place where the case of a murdered cop, even a dirty one, goes unanswered. He said he's got about 6 months left until retirement, and until then, he wants this case closed before he goes. So he wants Garcia to do some digging around and reaching out to his locals and other contacts or something like that, but he has to do it alone and he can't tell nobody. And he said whoever put Howard down is still out there, and it may be the same person who shot him before by Baisley. And later we see Detective Garcia outside driving around. He put on his siren and he rolls up on Kanan and gives him a hard time. And Kanan was like, leave me alone. It's going to be the same answer every time. And when Garcia got in his car, he said, F you, Garcia. Then there's this scene with Unique. He goes to his old home and he finds an eviction notice on the door and it's empty inside, and he gets upset and punches a hole in the wall. Because this was the home that he shared with his girl and their son. And then we see him again. Somehow he finds where his son and baby mama lives, and he's doing his own little like surveillance and following people around, and he keeps hitting his head like something's wrong with him, which it is. That doctor said that something might be wrong with him in last episode, because people with this type of injury go through some stuff where they could become meaner and evil and stuff, which we'll find out later on in the episode. So now we have this scene with Kanan. He's talking business with one of his workers named OC. When Crystal comes in, and OC leaves quickly, and Crystal thinks he's pretty strange. And Kanan said he's all right. He's real good with numbers too. So they start talking and making out, and Kanan realizes he doesn't have any condoms, and he says he could pull out. And she's like, I ain't down with that, because last time I got pregnant. And he was like, well, we took care of it. Don't worry about it. We took care of it. We did what was right. She said, no, you did what was right for you, not what was right for me. I wanted to have that baby. I wanted somebody to love and somebody to love me back. So obviously he made her have an abortion, right? And she said, just because you and your mother have some kind of messed up, relationship doesn't mean that would happen with us. And then she accused him of talking to other females and stuff. And he's like, nah, she just a hood rat. She's like, nah, I ain't stupid. She said, you know what, Kanan? F you. And she walked out and left. We also had a scene earlier with Rock and Marvin meeting with that attorney, and they had been watching the press conference on TV. So they learned that the feds aren't watching them much anymore. So, like, the coast is clear for them to move and do stuff, but you still got to be careful. And Rock is telling Marvin, be careful of the stuff you do and the people you hang out with, because that white dude turned on him that he was looking out for before. So then we see Lou, he's checking out of the Cedar Shores Rehabilitation Clinic. And remember, last season, Rocky and Marvin had brought him there. We thought they was going to take him to the woods and kill him, but instead they took him to this rehabilitation clinic to get clean, which was great. But anyway, when Lou comes out, he sees that Marvin's there to pick him up. So they hug, and then they catch up on the ride back to Queens. And they talk about Jukebox and Famous and what is it? Lou had a meeting with some record exec, and why Marvin no longer follows those breathing and thinking exercises that he learned in therapy. And he told him why, because of that Gerald, that white guy who turned on him. And so they have a good talk, and it's nice. And he's like, I won't let you down. And Marvin's like, yeah, I ain't going to count them chickens before they hatch or something like that. So he's letting Lou know, you just might go turn on me. I don't know what's going to happen, but I ain't going to hold my breath. So anyway, Lou gets home, and his apartment is a mess, and he starts cleaning up. Next, we learn that Rock and Kanan are working together. Like I said, we don't know how many months have passed by. And he tells her he needs a re-up. So she said, Quan wants to meet with her before giving them more inventory. So she goes to meet with Quan, and he tells her that he's raising her prices 20%. And Rock is shocked, and Quan doesn't care. She's like, you can't pull that on me. He said, I can, and I did. So Rock goes to see Stefano to complain, and he said he has no sway with Quan. So Rock asks what's entailed if she wants to be a supplier. And so Stefano tells her what it is. And he said if she makes him an offer, maybe there's something he could work out. So we're going to see what happens with that. So next we see a scene with Marvin. He goes to a Chinese restaurant to pick up some drugs, and he catches the owner's nephew stealing. And the nephew saying he didn't take anything, and he's like, yes, you did. He said, empty your pockets. He emptied his pockets, nothing. He said, pull down your drawers. He made him pull it down, and sure enough, some drugs fell out of his. And he's like, leave out of here, and don't you ever come back. And the Chinese people are like, oh, his mother's sick. He said, I don't care if his mama's sick. He better not touching my business anymore or whatever. So that was that scene. So next we see Marvin meeting with Stefano for another small job. And that's when Marvin learns that Stefano's daughter is expecting. So Stefano's going to be a grandpa. He's like, congratulations. So now he wants Marvin to like scare a bookie who's skimming off the top. So now when Marvin goes to see the bookie, who is a black guy, He said some things that pissed Marvin off. Like he ain't nothing but a stepping, fetching ass, run errands nigga or something like that. You know, he called him some kind of name and said that I made Stefano too much money for him to do anything to me. And so Marvin got really upset about the names that this man was calling him and stuff. And he shot homeboy. And I'm sitting there going, this seems like it's going to be a problem because Stefano told him he just wanted him to like ring his bell, see if he's home upstairs because he doesn't listen after being warned. And I think Marvin took it too far. So now we see Lou at Street Records. He's there to meet this record exec named Lowell. I think it is Lowell, who says he's been in rehab 3 times for cocaine, liquor, and pussy in that order. But you know that the last one is really sex addiction he's supposed to have. And he said he just did that as an excuse to get away from having sex with his wife's sister or something like that. He was a trip. The guy was hilarious, okay? He was definitely the comic relief on this episode. So he wants Lou to run his hip hop imprint. And Lou tells him out of all the rappers that he had him listen to, B Rilla is the only one who was good and has that realness in him. So Lowell wants Lou to meet with B Rilla because he said B Rilla's a pain in his butt, but that he's in the correctional facility now. So he said go to see him and see if he's worth holding on to this artist. So Lou said he's not ready to make a decision on what's next in his life because Lowell had asked him to run the hip hop imprint. He said it would be like him running a Bulletproof record and he would be in charge with everything. So Lou went to the correctional facility to meet with B Rilla, who was in there for robbery. He let B Rilla know that he was interested in him, and B Rilla was aware of who Lou was, and they had a little chat, you know. And he said if B Rilla tells him he's ready to work, he'll have him out by day's end. And B Rilla said if he can do that, then he's down. And somehow, y'all, Lou was able to make that happen. But I think it's with that great attorney that they have. He might have been the one who was able to get B Rilla out because, like I said, it was only for robbery. So next we see this scene with Rock and Kane, and they meet with Snaps and Pops, and they give them a bundle of money and say that they're even now. And they tell Kane and Rock that they're not even. They're only even on investment, not on return. So Kanan is confused and not understanding. And they told him they don't give money to get back what they gave. They give money to make money. So when Rock spoke up for Kanan, stating, you know, whatever that deal that they made with Ronnie went to the ground with him, Snaps said, with all due respect, Rock, this has nothing to do with you. We finance Kanan and Ronnie's enterprise, not yours. And so Rock kept quiet as Kanan was getting like schooled about business from Snaps and Pops. And so Rock told Kanan, let's go, because he was getting a little heated and stuff. And he said, I'm not done talking. And about 4 or 5 guys stood up behind Snaps and Pops. And he said, listen to your mother, son. He said, we'll continue this conversation when you cool down or something like that. So when they got outside, Rock warns Kanan to be careful with them. And he turned to flex at Rock and bringing up the stuff about her shooting his father and everything. And do you know the difference between right and wrong? And I was like, Kanan, please. Then she told him he don't have to work with her anymore. Just say the word. And he kept quiet. She said, yeah, you ain't got nothing to say because you know you making more money working with me than you did before. But she said, I don't have to trust my son as much. She said, but I must be able to trust my business partners. So then he didn't say nothing and got in his Mercedes Benz and he drove off. So now we have a scene with Kanan. He's with his grandmother at the doctor's office, and he's hearing that she has kidney cancer and it has grown, and she tells Kanan that she's dying. So Kanan seems to look a bit upset. So he gets his grandmother home and tells her, I know this family is all about holding secrets and stuff. He said, but this feels like one secret you can't hold like that. And he is absolutely right. And his grandmother says, I don't know what's worse, facing death or facing my kids. Because she doesn't have a good relationship with any of them. Out of the 3 children, she really doesn't, because she was a piece of work as a mother herself. So now we see Marvin talking to Stefano on the phone, and he's telling him what happened and how the guy was disrespecting both of them, the things he was saying. And as he's telling Stefano about it, who comes in but Jukebox? And he's like, yo, my daughter is here. She's supposed to be in basic training. I gotta go, Stefano. He hung up and he's happy to see Juke. They hugging and everything else. And then they go out that night and he takes her to the club where Kanan happens to be sitting there listening to B Rilla spitting some rhymes. And so as he's sitting there, Crystal comes in and I guess they make up or whatever it is, and she sits down with him at the table. Then we see Lou talking to the woman behind the bar, and she let him know that, the one who owns the place. She lets him know that he has a visitor, and that was Lowell over there with about four other white guys and stuff, and they listen to B Rilla spitting rhymes and everything. And then they start discussing B Rilla, and he's like, so Lou, you want to make money? Lou said, I want to make music. So he said, I'll have my attorneys draw up a contract, and they shake on it. At this point, that's when Jukebox comes in with Marvin. She hits Kanan on his shoulder. She hugs Uncle Lou. Kanan jumps up and hugs her. And then she sits down at the table in between him and Crystal. And she just looks at her and don't say nothing. And Crystal don't say nothing either. I said, I wish she would say something. Jukebox just got a basic training. She ready to knock somebody out. And so now this episode ends with Rock and the attorney. They're out at a diner or something and they're meeting. And he lets her know that both she and Marvin were seen meeting with Stefano Marchetti separately. And Rock is shocked and she tries to play it off. Then he tells her that the FBI wants her to snitch on Stefano, basically. And they're giving her a get out of jail free card to help them. And so, Rock just said, that's good to know. So they leave the diner, and Rock is asking Andre, the attorney, that one day you're going to tell me about who your connects are. You seem to have connects in the NYPD and FBI. They know what's going on before anybody. And he told her that if he told her his trade secrets, he'll no longer be needed. So they hug, and you can see it's not a sexual hug. It's a pat, thanks for your good work. She gets in the car, he goes in his car, and who's watching but Unique? And somehow he knows where Andre lives because he's in the building by the time Andre gets up there to his apartment. He knows the floor and everything. And when Andre opens his door, he hears a voice behind him saying, so you effing her? And he turns around and Unique punches him in his face and then knocks him to the floor and said, if you effing her, then she's effing you, or something like that. And then he shot him and killed him. Didn't even let Andre tell him anything, that they just business associates and that's it. So this is really messed up because Andre was a good guy and he ain't did nothing wrong. And he was good helping, Rock and Marvin and Lou. Because he did tell Rock also that Lewis, he called him, asked him to get somebody out of prison for him. And he said he would send her the bill since it's outside of the scope of work they do. And she said, well, Lou's record exec gonna pay that bill, but you could send it to me. So this was so sad. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about this episode. Like I said, it was good, but Andre didn't deserve to die. Come on, Unique. That head injury is really jacking him up. Anywho, I'll see you all in the next video. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Peace.